going to try to troubleshoot in the background. If we have to restart, we'll restart, but let's just keep going. And I see it trying to work, so let's just keep going here, and then I'll update y'all. There we go. I see it's back now. Okay, now I see it's on YouTube. So
yeah, it's working now too. Why is that? What's YouTube doing to us, man?
So they're making changes in their live studio, which is causing issues with probably OBS and other platforms.
Yeah,
so.
Their live changes suck.
Yes, I would 100% agree with that.
We'll just sum it up for you.
All right, well, we're working now, which is all that matters. So, Joel, why don't you run through the overnight charts again? Because I think the people may have missed that.
The people. Okay, we're up 15 3/4 handles at 45.28 1/4. Right off the pre-market high, 31.75. If I told you where resistance was, you guys would fall off your chair.
Where's resistance?
I don't have a daily level for another 50 handles.
Oh my God! I just fell off my chair.
Oh, he did.
Remember the person that fell off their chair the other day?
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Spencer, that was funny.
Crude, bad day yesterday, bad day today, down 227 at 110.10. Gold just hovering at 1950, down 820, 1954. Silver in the red by just 4 cents, 25.88. Bitcoin moving up towards that resistance, up 750 at 44. 915 Ethereum futures up $63 at 31.9350. We are ready to go here. What do you want to cover? We talked a lot about the pot stocks yesterday. I guess that's most.
Dennis didn't get the chance to.
No,
I
Dennis
talk
did.
about them.
No. Okay, we'll let you talk about them, and then we'll have
blast
our guest
off
at 8:35.
Pot is hot.
First off, does anyone understand what's happening with Tilray here? Because this is now the second time in the last couple of days that Tilray, especially,
squeezing.
They're just squeezing Tilray.
Squeezing them.
Look at Tilray after hours. I mean,
the dash for trash started a week ago when GME and AMC started blasting off, and now they're just going through them one at a time. iRobot yesterday, blasting off. They're going through them one at a time, and now they're going through them sectors at a time too. And now it's pot. And obviously, this vote was the catalyst, but now the pot's got to blast off too. So if you're short these beaten down, trashy names right now, I'd be covering them because, these things have been moving now. I mean, some have already moved, but the ones that haven't moved, for 2 days, the pot stocks didn't really participate in this ridiculous rally and all the trash. And you're starting to see that happen here now. So perfect timing. What is the catalyst's vote? What is this catalyst?
So Marijuana Moment is the outlet that broke this news that the House has scheduled a vote for Monday on the MORE Act, the Marijuana Opportunity Reinvestment and Expungement Act. That'll go to a vote next week. This is thought to be a formality because remember, a cannabis bill already passed the House of Representatives back in December 2020. It died in the Senate, but it passed the House. So it passed the House once, it can pass the House again. So the thought is, okay, it'll get to the House. But unlike last time, this time we have a Democratic-controlled Senate that would also maybe want to pass this bill, and we know that Biden's probably not going to veto. So the path to legalization looks like it could be happening.
This is the run up into the event. When is the vote?
Monday.
On Monday. So do we know what time we're going to get? Like a Monday morning, like over the weekend move here too, or
I don't know what time.
So it'll probably be a buy on rumor, and even if they pass it, you wonder if they don't pull the rug out from under it after that. But I mean, this is a nice lift for a lot of beaten down names. Do they have more gas? Who knows where the rocket ship ends? I mean, Tilray is your best one to look at right now because it's squeezing and it's got the vote, the catalyst here. It's 822. I wouldn't be surprised this thing could see $10. It would not surprise me. I'm not saying it's going to do that. I'm not saying I'm buying at 822 and I think it's going to 10, but it's now in the middle of nowhere. 10 is a logical place for massive resistance to happen. I would probably be a seller if it got up to there. If I'm in it, I'm probably riding it and hoping, that the talk on CNBC today as they talk ahead of this vote, maybe the weekend gets you a lift. If it got anywhere near that 10, I'd dump it. That's my opinion.
I mean, this is just such a godly awful looking chart. I'll just go with your
Not if you bought it 2
December.
days ago.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm just looking when I look at that 300 high, and then I'm looking at the bottom right chart.
That's what's hot right now. The
I'll just
awful
concur
looking
with you.
chart.
I mean, 1026 is your last monthly high. That was back in December. So if you want to go and look back in your December chart and some other daily levels there, you can, but you're on your own on that one.
But so Tilray is the biggest mover, but of course not the only one, because every pot stock is ripping, right?
Yeah.
Canopy, Kronos, Aurora, Scott's Miracle Grow, all the
Oh,
OTC.
Scott's Miracle Grow. I didn't even think
Yeah,
about
that's
that
not
one.
good. Is that actually?
Yeah, that's not moving at all.
Yeah.
You know what, though?
Pretty
That's a good
strong.
call, Spencer. It did actually move up yesterday afternoon. So you wonder
Yeah,
if
it
this
did.
one doesn't, sneaky real rally here. Here's a value trade, too, to be honest with you, SMG. I don't have this in my portfolio. It probably should be in there. I mean, the trend is awful. What's the PE on this puppy?
I knew you were going to ask me.
What is? Yeah, well, that's what I'm looking. It's classic, just basic analysis of what goes into my long-term portfolio.
On a forward basis, it's 14.8, price to sales of 1.4.
It's just a cheap stock.
Yeah.
So it's cheap. It's been beat up with the rest of the market here. It was $250 when we thought pot was going to take over the world and SMG was going to be with a participant in it, even though it's a very small portion of their overall business. I mean, the stock's been cut in half. Should it have been at 250? I don't think so. Should it be down at 124? I don't think so either. So I write this one down on my list. I don't own it, but it's one that maybe I would think about, even today.
All right.
Had a nice
Don't want
move
to chase
off
things,
below.
though.
Yeah, you're not really chasing though because you made that.
Well, there's no offers right now, so if it
well,
just
then you're
blasts off
chasing.
the open, I think the pot stocks will lift it. So you want to be somewhat careful here because pot's lifting. I think Spencer is, is a sneaky little SMG. People didn't think about it yet. I wouldn't be surprised this does get a lift.
Sneaky.
Yeah, you've had about a 20-point move off that low. So ideally, 121, 122. You had a shot at that yesterday. That was half of the retracement, half of the move back. So I don't know if you're going to get a look at it again today. Went off the board at 24.75.
And then just something to think about here is, on all these stocks, just go back to December, January 2020, 2021 and see what happened there. Granted, this time very well could be different because, as I said, we actually could get through Congress on this one through both houses. But just in case, just go back to that time period and look what happened in the price action because
and just remember the price action when gambling got legalized too.
Yeah. And also the price action when Biden when Biden was elected. I mean, you would have thought that cannabis was going to get legalized the very next day based on the price action.
The money is made in the run-up into these events, and that's what you're seeing right now. And I've made money for 22 years trading stocks ahead of events, being long into an event, selling before the event because I don't like the risk of the event. But I do it every week. I'm usually long the major earnings stocks ahead of their earnings reports, and then I dump them before the report, unless I forget or unless I just get a little bit crazy. But I mean, for the most part, there's alpha to be extracted from being long stocks ahead of newsworthy events.
Yep.
There's simple strategies that just continue to work in this market, and that's one that has worked for 20 years. So, I mean, if it worked for me for 20 years, I'm going to continue to play it. And that's what you're seeing here right now in the pot stocks. It's, we don't have to look at a fundamental. This is the catalyst. It's a vote that's happening on Monday. You're getting the classic run up into that news event. And we'll see. We don't know if it's going to pass or if it's not going to pass. But don't be surprised if it passes and they lift on it initially. And then they pull the rug out because a lot of times it's buy the rumor, sell the news, buy ahead of the event, sell the event. So if you're sitting up 40, 50, 60%, in 2 days on some of these stocks running into the event, I'd ring the register. But again, you got a full day of trading here, so maybe you want to give it a little bit yet.
Let's move on to some other movers here outside of cannabis because there's a bunch of things happening here overnight. Nothing major, but a lot of small things. two stocks that I want to quickly address that were moving after hours. Well, one of them was moving. One of them was just like a crazy trade. Dennis, did you see WD40, WDFC? That was like a busted trade, I think.
No, it was just a bad print. I mean, that's what people just don't understand the tape, and they like talk about it on Twitter, and they don't know. So I've explained this stuff on the show before. When you see FINRA, it's not busted trade. It's not anything like that. When you see FINRA, TRF, this is off exchange trade. 45%. It's a good educational tool. 45% of your trades happen off exchange. We don't have a lot of color there. We've asked the SEC, we've asked the regulators to color the FINRA tape to tell us more. So we can only speculate. But there's a lot of different things happening. Some of this is off exchange market makers that are just executing retail trades. But there's also like stuff like Liquidnet where there's institutional crosses. But what needs to be known is that some of these trades are actually manually reported to the tape, and sometimes they're delayed. So what you saw last night, I don't know if you have it, but there was a trade at $30. Stock closed at $185.41. I can pretty much guarantee you that was probably just a typing error as they were manually entering the trade. Everybody looks at it like, what just happened to WDFC? Well, somebody screwed up on the entry into the consolidated tape, because all trades that happen in the US have to be reported into the tape. Even if they happen off exchange, they got to be reported to the FINRA trade reporting facility. So when you see something like $30 way out of the money like that, it was like 3,000 shares a couple, it was probably just a clerk, like literally an error in entering the price. So that never traded down there. Don't get scared. Your stock didn't trade down to $30 if you're long WDFC. It was probably just a mistake. But again, we don't have color on this. We'll probably never know. But I see something that absurd out there. I was like, wow, I typed it in wrong. Somebody screwed up. Maybe they meant to type like 3,000 shares and they typed $30. That's what I would speculate happened.
This is what it looked like on the trade station. 30.
Is there 30. How many shares traded? Can we see how many shares traded?
It actually says 0.
Well, they would have called it, so it's 0 because they would have.
Oh no, 3,000. You're right.
There you go. So it's not even speculate. Like I'm speculating, but look, 3,000 trades at 30. So somebody screwed up entering that. They probably meant to put the price like 185.41, but they put, instead of the price, they put the quantity 3,000, and they probably entered 30.00.
Good one.
So they would have picked it up. So I bet you that is what happened. There's probably an error in how that was reported to the tape.
All right. That was a good lesson. The other one is ACI, Albertsons.
Well, there's news. There's got to be news on this.
You tweeted about this last night. I have to confess, I don't know what the news is. I asked our news desk. They don't know.
I can tell you, just from 22 years of tape reading and trading after hours, this looks 99% like it's a secondary offering, but I haven't seen who's running the book. So I haven't seen anything of this. I'm just completely speculating that they announced a secondary. Just by looking at the tape, I can tell that this is a secondary offering. So this is something that somebody's got a pricing on, and it's being run. And I don't know why it hasn't came across the street yet, but somebody knows something, and I'm pretty sure it's a secondary. You can just tell by the way it's trading. Full disclosure, I do have a trading position on this too.
And Christopher mentions that Albertsons is a relatively recent IPO. Well, it was gone and then it came back, right? We have another IPO this morning that is trending down. It's actually among the biggest losers of the morning. The Honest Company, HNST. This is Jessica Alba's beauty products company, and this is one of their first. This is like their fourth earnings report, I think, as a public company. So they haven't been public very long. The IPO was only in May of last year, and it was bad. They missed on the bottom line EPS. Their revenue went down. The revenue went down. So
you don't want those growth stocks that don't make money to see the revenue dropping.
Yeah,
that's exactly what you don't want.
Yeah. So
I don't know anything about this company, and I don't care to know anything about it. It's down 18%.
I mean, it's IPO. What was the IPO price here? Probably 20. So IPO price was 16.
Got up to $23.88.
Yeah.
Back in 2021, when they bought anything and they didn't care what they were putting money into, nobody understood what they were putting money into. So there you go.
Yeah.
480. Someone has an opinion there. We're at 494, so that's the only level I can give you. And
Yeah.
and honest, I guess people don't want
honesty.
clean
It's
clean
honest.
diapers. I don't know.
Is that what it is?
It honestly was about a quarter. Is all I can say about it. Let's move
Eric M says their product gives my kid rashes. So
on. All right.
That's
That's
not
not
a-
a good. That's not
that's
good news. It's
yeah,
clean
that-
diapers, but it gives the kids rashes.
Wait.
we don't know anything about that.
Wait. Tell
we
us
don't know
us
about
more about those rashes, please. There was actually a number of offerings last night. I don't know if Albertsons is one, but Purple.
I'm pretty sure we're gonna find out Albertsons is one. But yeah, give me the ones that we do know about.
PRPL, they announced a $65 million common stock offering. Asana announced a mixed shelf offering. No size disclosed. There's maybe one more.
Chesapeake.
Thank you. Chesapeake announced an offering last.
Everybody's selling high.
Yeah.
I mean, all these stocks have gone to ridiculous levels. Doesn't make any sense, really. So the companies are like, let's raise some cash because we know what's coming. They know what's like. If you're a good company executive and your stock's ripping higher, all its tea leaves are there. I mean, it's going to be tougher times for a lot of companies. And, and quietly can start seeing separation here too. I mean, look at Williams Sonoma. Here's a good one. WSM. When people are getting strapped, what do you think they're selling? What do you think they're not buying? These huge, expensive discretionary purchases. Williams Sonoma, everything they sell in that store is super expensive. And you know what? The stock has been beat up, and you can say, well, look at the PE and the PE. What's the PE on Williams Sonoma? Because it's low. What's the PE on this puppy? I bet you it's under 10. 12.
It's
Yes.
10. The forward PE is 10. You're very
and wow, how can I go wrong? 2.13% dividend, but it was as good as it gets. They've been in an environment where it's been as good as it gets, and that's why the stock is starting to get beat up here. Now, again, if we move back to all-time highs, maybe we get inflation in check. But I just think with the rising interest rate environment, with where interest rates are, there's certain stocks that will perform in this environment. There's certain stocks that will not. And if you're strapping the consumer, they're not going and expiring and going into their Williams Sonoma and just spending all their discretionary cash. They don't have any left. So half the population is going to be really hurting here, maybe even more than that, especially with the rise in interest rates. So consumers not going to have as much money, and that's manifesting itself in a number of stocks, including the automotive makers. You wonder why these things keep trading lower. I mean, going out buying a new car right now. So look at Toyota. Look at the rally it's had. I mean, this is a stock I would absolutely sell right now. And it's
help me with that symbol.
TM.
Oh, that's easy.
But look, you got the 50% retracement from the overall move. It's been a nice run back where this is kind of like the hope trade where everybody's like, yeah, we're going back to all-time highs. I think we could go back to all-time highs for a lot of stocks, but I don't know if it's like when you're selling stuff. I don't know if people going out and buy as many new cars. Like if you and maybe we don't go into a recession, maybe we get a ceasefire, maybe inflation just magically goes away. And maybe they don't have to raise interest rates as much as they do. But in all likelihood, I don't see those things happening. And that's why I think you got to analyze your company and say, am I in something that consumers need, or am I in something that consumers want? And if you're in the stocks that's selling products that just consumers want but don't need, I think those are the wrong stocks to be in. Stocks that, like Procter & Gamble, they're selling stuff. You're going to still go out and buy, all your consumer staples products. You're still going to buy your Coke. You're still going to buy your Apple, your iPhone, because people are on their phones. The technology's still there. People aren't going to get rid of that. But are they going to go out and buy a new car? I don't think so. So, that's what is concerning to me. And that's what I would say if you're analyzing your portfolio and, you're worried, that interest rates and inflation is an issue. I think those stocks get hit first.
You know what else people need? Or maybe not people, but machines. They need chips. They need semiconductors. I don't know if...
Wow. I mean, it's just unbelievable the move in the semis yesterday. And you know what? It's in everything. I mean, these are the most loved stocks, so it's natural that these are going to bounce back first. But holy cow, NVIDIA. I mean, this was $213 9 days ago. And now it's $282. It's an incredible move. I mean, I missed it on a lot of these stocks. I am in long AMD. I was hoping for a catch-up trade. I started getting that yesterday. But wow, what a move in these things. Joel, what are your thoughts here?
It was just a bunch of different catalysts. I think Kramer piled on it, I think, in the morning, and then I heard another like Investors Business Daily. I don't know if anybody reads that anymore. Uh, and then you had the testimony on the Hill with some of the chip companies, and it just had a setup. It had a pair of highs, right?
Yeah,
And then it
yeah.
had that weekday, and someone asked me about it yesterday, and I'm like, well, it kind of looked like it was a little bit tired, and then it took out that pair of highs, and it just they gobbled it up. Little technical formation, spoos were moving up, and
Man.
took it through the momentum. Probably over halfway back now. We'll see what happens today. This is a streaky stock. This was spike at 4 a.m. Someone got real excited at 4 a.m. and paid up to what 286 or something like that.
You got the
288.30.
FOMO going here.
288.30. What are you thinking?
They're thinking FOMO. I mean, they got the FOMO. I do think, like, if we're making new all-time highs, it's going to be NVIDIA, AMD. They're going to be right up there. So, again, there's two scenarios still here. I don't really get, when I stop, and this is why I'm still 50% cash in the long-term portfolio, because I just think, I don't know the timing of how all this goes down, but I just don't see a reason to be all in on stocks right now. Trading, I'm always trading. I'm always going to be able to, well, not maybe always, but I, for 22 years consistently made money trading, day trading, scalping, arbitrage, all that type of stuff. The long-term investing, I try to time it a little bit. And right now I'm just not feeling it. I'm not feeling that stocks are cheap, and I don't like the environment that we're going into. And that's why I'm keeping cash. And people are saying, they tweet at me every day because people love it when I'm wrong. Because I'm opinionated. So, they love you or they hate you, and that's it. If I say something bad about the stock, they automatically hate you forever. So there's a group of, Twitter that people just absolutely hate me because I probably said something bad about their stock, because I'm very opinionated. I'll say I'll like your stock or don't like your stock. When I say I don't like your stock, they automatically don't like me. And that's just the way it works. I mean, that's the way people are. They're very close to their money, and they don't like you saying anything bad about their stock. But, I mean, I have people reaching out to me all the time. How's your cash doing, Dennis? How's your cash? Every day. People are asking me, how's that 50% cash doing for you?
Really?
But, that they didn't say anything when we were going down for 3 months.
I mean, you don't respond to them, do you?
Sometimes, but I usually don't.
You know what
I don't.
You know what
You're
I would
stealing
do?
feisty, he does.
You know what I would do?
If I'm feisty, I do. What would you do, Joel?
I'd block them.
I don't block anybody. I don't block anyone. I don't know if I've ever even. Maybe I should. I have probably blocked a couple of people.
I don't think I've blocked anybody either, but I would.
If you actually say something like really offside. Like a lot. Sometimes we'll take it another level. People make fun of my last name. Easy, low. Easy to make fun of.
Low hanging fruit, yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey, low hanging fruit. I never heard that one before.
Yeah.
Oh wow, you're a genius over there, buddy. So. I mean, it is what it is. I actually 90% of the people on Twitter are awesome. So it's just the group of people. I swear, it's 90% of the people are really good, and it's 10%. No, maybe it's not. It's probably like 2% that are on there just to piss people off. So like they're intentionally going out there just to piss you off.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. Like there's people, they're anonymous handles, and they're going to say stuff. They don't have the guts to say it to you with their handle. I mean, I'm out there. This is my name. This is real. I'm saying it to you. It's coming from me, as long as it's the dentist with the check mark. But, there's probably 2% of Twitter that's just out there lurking, just looking to piss people off, because people get, like, they just, they like that. They like pissing people off.
Do you think that there's like a Twitter hate dentist bot?
Probably. There was one bot going for a while, and it was they had the handle at Stop Triple D Trader. Like it literally, they made a handle.
Stop talking.
Triple D Trader. Yeah, I don't know, and it was like yelling at me all the time. They
all right. I'm bringing us back here.
Bring us back in.
I just had a feeling this is gonna be one of these shows.
Bed Bath and Beyond.
We gotta talk about pot.
What are you going to?
Bed Bath and Beyond.
What's happening here?
Go look for yourself, and then come at me.
Oh,
Ryan Cohen has reached a deal with the company. So
Ryan Cohen is the leader of all retail. I tell you, man, this guy.
So Ryan Cohen himself is not joining the board, but 3 of his people are joining the board of Bed Bath & Beyond. So March 7th, that big spike on that day. That was the day.
Ryan Cohen.
That was the day that his letter came out saying, I want board seats or I want you to spin off something or do something. That was the day we got to 30. We just spiked now to above 25 on the resolution of that. I don't quite know if this makes sense to me, but whatever.
You can't be short any of these meme stock, retail-driven names right now. That's the route. It started 4 days ago. We said it on this show. Did we not say it on this show? When GameStop started blasting off 3 days ago, had the big day, I was like, you can't be short any of these names, and there's probably a case to be long some of them too. So, I mean, it's, Bed Bath & Beyond. You got GameStop, AMC, and then Bed Bath & Beyond. So it hadn't participated for the last couple of days. Is this going to kickstart it? It might. So, a lot of these stocks are completely disconnected with their fundamental story. It doesn't matter, but Bed Bath & Beyond is not like a GameStop or AMC. It's not an expensive stock either. It's just, me and Joel just don't like the store. But I mean, for the most part, you're not buying nothingness here. I mean, in some of these cases, they were just buying, hopes and dreams. And
have they closed any stores?
I love Bed Bath & Beyond. What are you talking about? They have so much cool stuff over there.
They're just such big stores, and I just don't see anybody buying anything ever. Dude, and they have to coupon the hell out of you to get you in the store.
Every cool infomercial product ever is at Bed Bath.
Oh, that's true. There's a point. There's a good point there. They are the infomercial store. Yeah. They should actually call themselves the infomercial store.
Maybe one of Ryan's ideas is the reason he wants to get on the board is when you go into the store, okay? You either got to go right or you either go left or right, and then you're trapped. What he's gonna do is you're just gonna bulldoze like right down diagonal. Right? Just blow everything out so you can walk in the middle and you're not trapped in the store, and it doesn't take you forever to get to your place.
There's no exit.
It does. Yeah. It does give off IKEA vibes in that.
Oh yeah. IKEA's the worst. You go in there.
Oh, you're trapped.
How do I get out of this place?
Yeah,
you can't. You have to go through the whole store to get.
You just gotta smell the meatballs, the Swedish meatballs. And that's
the $2 meatballs at the end of it all. That's pretty good. I like the $2 meatballs.
24.80 for you triple BY traders. That was a recent high. Got through there in the pre-market, getting a little over 25, settled back down. So if you're looking for a run back up to 30, jot down 24.80. That's a potential capital P. Potential resistance.
Let's pivot to China here. NEO is your headline, but all of China is trading down, mostly because yesterday a U.S. regulatory body kind of threw cold water on the idea that everything is all hunky-dory over there. But NEO had news overnight. They had their earnings. Their earnings is whatever. It's more about the deliveries. The delivery guidance that they gave was in line with estimates. That's the most important thing here.
What is it in triple digits now?
Well, for a quarter? No.
No.
Wait. For triple digits? Yeah, Joel, we're way past that. We're into the tens of thousands.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
They sell cars.
Yeah.
They sold cars for a long time.
Yeah, they make cars. They don't make a million cars, but they make cars.
Of course, you don't know the numbers coming from China. I mean,
yeah,
you always got to put an asterisk beside. They're not GAAP, GAAP, which obviously has been an issue for a while. But anyway, we won't talk about that. For $13 to 21, it's had a good run here. It's had a good bounce back here. I'm scared of all Chinese stocks. At this point in time, they've just run so far. As much as they were really oversold 2 weeks ago, they're now getting to a point where they're starting to feel a little bit overbought. I mean, JD, to get all of its losses back, double topped it up there at 70. Twice gave you the shot, just under 70. Look at that, Joel. Look at that JD chart. I mean, we group all these together. You can see how I always relationship it back, because that's where I make the money. That's where I'm trying to teach you guys to make the money. It's about relationships. It's about grouping them all together. And this stock starts moving, it causes these ones to move. That's where, the stat herb stuff comes into play. But those JD double top at just under 70, right? Where you can get resistance. Yep. I mean, that's just a technical setup. And now it's reversing off. It couldn't get there. Now you're down $2 here in the pre-market. I don't know if there's a headline coming out of China here again. Yeah. But, you had a stock that went from 41 to 69 in 3 days. What do you do when your stock goes from 41 to 69 in 3 days? You sell it. That's what you do, because that is a ridiculous move, especially into that resistance.
It's got a little. It's trying here. Once again, the 4 a.m. Traders slammed it down to 58, getting a little bit of a rebound. And wow, 3 lows in the same area, right around 58. So if you're still hanging on here, below 58 is when the floodgates open a little bit. The bottom of yesterday's range, you're almost there, 58.72. If you're not worried about, get a little gap fill there, that's not bad. A lot of people like to see the close of 61.52. Neo, we did get the report, and I was watching this, and I'm saying, why is someone paying up for this here? And I thought for sure Triple D, you were going to give them something to think about going into the report, but they bid the
I don't have
thing
the
up.
guts on
They,
that one.
yeah. Then you told me that someone was on CNBC
They
talking
brought an
about it
analyst on
before the report.
CNBC ahead of the report that was bullish, so then it starts
Oh,
driving up ahead of the report.
that's
Just
crazy.
feeding the viewers to the wolves there.
Oh, he did, and then one buddy, I don't know, Mike was asking about this in the chat a lot. You got the Chinese. I just noticed too many closes right around 21.87. Actually, close above it, a close below it. So someone was trying to wiggle out there ahead of the report. Now trading in the red. I look at that area again on a pop. The upper 21.70s. If I was trying to exit. On the downside, it's not too bad on the downside. If you take out the pre-market low, things get a little dicey. I don't know. It's kind of tight though. Someone's trying to hold it up here, but if it takes out 28.60, see some more downside.
I think the reason why all of Chinese stocks are down today is follow through from yesterday, which was the statement from the Public Company Accounting Oversight Board, which is a U.S. body, that said, the talk that there are going to be no delistings, excuse me, is premature. So there is, everyone celebrating that Chinese government came out and central bank came out and said, yeah, we're going to support our stocks and no delistings. And U.S. body says, well, let's slow down on that. We're not so sure there's not going to be any delistings. So
I don't think anything's been solved there. I think
No.
everybody just got irrational. They were all excited to buy these Chinese names because they were so beat up, and I think there's still a lot of concerns there. I think this is a fantastic opportunity to lighten up on your emerging markets funds. But I thought that a day ago or 2 days ago. So it kept running a little bit here, but I'm scared there.
All right. It's as the world turns here. Let's bring on
As the world turns.
Let's bring on today's guest, Steve Kalayjian, co-founder of TradeEZ, a 39-year. Steve, I was gonna call you a 40-year veteran, but I thought, nah, he probably doesn't want me to give him the extra year, so I'll do 39 years. Steve, how's it going?
Good morning, guys. Good morning, Joel, Dennis. Good morning, Spencer. Good morning, everybody.
Oh my gosh, that's the most monitors I've ever seen. That's unbelievable. How many monitors do you have?
No, it's a virtual background.
39.
39 monitors.
I'm adding 3 more over here for crypto.
You need the 42. How do you watch this many monitors?
I was given a gift. I literally can go and I can see everything like that. It's I built my own probability analytics, and they're embedded on the charts. And I look at the same names over and over each and every day. And what I do is I see everything collectively, and then I, in my live channel each and every day, I'm helping people with market direction and trading ideas, and whether we're scalping or whether we're just intraday trades on, like yes, I had monster buy reversals on so many names like NVIDIA, AMD, and all the big ETFs around 11, 15. So, I wrote a whole bunch of strategies against the algorithms I built. That's what we do here each and every day. So, I don't know. I love it.
You're actually able to see all those screens, though.
Yeah, I do. I actually could walk out, come back, look left to right within 10 seconds, and I can see things like that.
What is each screen a different stock that you're really into?
Every 30-inch monitor has a different asset on it.
A different asset class.
Yeah, well, like AMD, every different stock.
A different stock.
Yeah. Different
what?
stock.
So what's your bread and butter? Which stocks do you pick on the most?
Well, I like let's see. I mean, I love the ETFs like the TNAs, the TQs, the SQQQs, S&P futures. We have big community of traders on the indexes, on the NASDAQ, S&P, gold, oil, 30-year bonds, and then we look at like names like Nvidia, AMD, Boeing, Goldman, Apple, Amazon, you just Facebook, Square, Roku, all the big names, big volume names that people like to, and of course the big ETFs, the spiders, the Qs, the diamonds, the Russell, and these are names that we feel like, and on any given day, the way I wrote the strategies, we'll get anywhere between 4 to 6 great trades a day, long end or short, on these patterns.
Wait, I like what Sonny just said on Twitch. No wonder there's a chip shortage, Steve. You got all the chips.
I grabbed them all.
You got all of them, man.
He's long AMD and Nvidia because he's 5% of their revenue.
Oh yeah. Well, I've had these things, believe it or not, like if you turn these screens off, you'll just see the black embeddedness of like Nvidia in the screen. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
burned in
on the screen.
It's awesome though. I love it. It's I wouldn't trade it for the world. I love it each and every day.
All right. You have any potential ideas or setups for us today?
Yeah, actually, I'm looking at the SQQQs here below 34. One of the things I'm seeing here is I got like a little divergence here between on the bigger time frames, the daily and the weeklies. So I pretty much know this pattern. We're gonna get maybe 1.5 more days up, and then we're gonna drop to a higher low. So I'm looking just for 1 to 3 days, 1 to 4 day drop early next week. And then I think we're going to make a higher low, get another push up. And I think that push up, I heard you guys say that like the Chinese stocks, I mean, these things are so overbought here. On March 15th, I tweeted out that I saw oil and gold have a monster buy divergence. Gold broke 1900, got down to 1895. And on that morning, I said, look at Nugget. I'd be looking to buy Nugget here, looking to buy Heckler, looking to buy GLDs and anything gold related. I mean, gold's up $70. Oil is up was up almost 23 from the high of 93 up to the 15, 16 level. So I think what we're reaching now is we're at a stage now where we're getting on my work a monster sell divergence here on the daily time frame for another push down to a higher low. Get one more push up, and I think that push up, I think we go right back down.
All right. And as far as your time frame, you mentioned a few different ones here, right? But you do day trades, you do swing trades. What's like the longest term trade that you would do?
Long term, I mean, for me, unless there's like, for example, like when you see gold and when you see extremes in the market, right? Like when gold and oil, when gold traded above the 2050, 60 range, we dropped down to 1895. That's an extreme. And so when you say long term to me, yeah. I've been day trading my whole life. Long term is 40 minutes, right? Because I believe that you can compound your returns on a daily basis, and just be consistent each and every day. I think if you can day trade right, which is what I'm teaching and what I've done successfully, I think you can have a better performance than buying and holding long term. But not everybody can do that. People have jobs, et cetera, et cetera. But the point.
Wait a minute. Sorry, Steve. I let me see if Steve, your mic. Something just happened to your mic there. Your audio just completely.
Tap it.
Hold on. All right, it's better.
Okay.
Very bizarre.
So I think as far as long term is concerned, I think unless there's extremes in the market, like when we got like the March lows of 2020, did I think they were going to rally to 36,000? No. Did I thought they were going to rally to 24,000, 25,000? Yes. I just think that anytime you get any kind of capitulation, up and or down, that's when I think there's more long-term advantages.
Steve, you've been trading, as I said, for nearly 40 years. American Stock Exchange, New York Stock Exchange. You have any good floor stories for us?
Yeah, the first trade I ever did in my entire life. My father, good friend, was Peter Kellogg, and I came home one day and I got a D in economics. And I literally took the books over my head. He was sitting on the couch. I threw the books over my head, and I didn't even mean to do it. And they hit the window, and the window went whoa, 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 like a big, like, 12-foot window. And he said, "What's the matter with you?" I said, "I just got a D in economics. I can't take it no more." I said, "I'm not really meant for school." He said, "That's it. You're getting a job on Wall Street." So I went down the next day. I took the subway with him, and I went into the 120 Broadway building, and Marge was there. And she said, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm Stephen Kalayjian. I'm here to see Peter Kellogg." I walked in. Peter Kellogg says, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm Jack Kalayjian's son, Peter. Nice to meet you." He goes, "Marge, get him a badge." And I got, and I went down to Florida American Stock Exchange. And remember, I want to go back in time here because people won't remember this, but the minimum wage was $2.10 an hour back then. And I usually worked for $2.10 an hour, cutting lawns or this and that. So I saved up $3,000. And when I became a specialist clerk on the Amex, there was a stock right behind me called American Can. So I started to learn a little bit about options, a call and a put, nothing crazy. So I opened up a brokerage account and I bought 5 50 calls at 2 3/4. Well, half the money so the stock was probably like 51 or something like that. And it was like October of 83. And next thing I know, the stock drops. I buy more. The stock drops, buys more. And on Christmas, the week before Christmas, the stock was like 45 or 43. Or 45 or something like that. And I remember a guy patting me on the back and saying, "Hey kid, go home, enjoy Christmas. You can't turn the machines back on." Just like in trading places, And then a week before expiration, the stock's like $41 a share in February. And I watched the stock in 1 week go from 41 to 54. So at 3:45, the day of expiration, I literally go to the yellow phone, pick up the phone and said, "Tommy, sell whatever, 15 or 18 50 calls, market." Boom. Right? They were trading like $3.50, $4. And they were trading at a stint, cabinet to a stint at one point. So I lost everything practically. A week before expiration was trading at like a 16th of a dollar, right? So I bought all the way down on the $3,000. So as I'm hanging up the phone, within 4 or 5 minutes, I see the broker walk in the crowd and I hear him say, "American Can, 50 calls, 18, I'll sell 18 at the market." Boom, sold. I got the report. As I'm looking, to write down that I sold them to myself, right? Because I turn around, I see my father. And my father says to me, "Are you out?" I said, "Yeah, I'm out." Billy just, he bought them. I heard him, he sold them over there. And he said, "When I walked on the floor of the American Stock Exchange," he was a broker on the American Stock Exchange, "that morning, a couple of days ago, I saw a penny faced up. And I bent over and I made a wish that you wouldn't lose any money on this trade." Huh. He said, What'd you learn from?" He said, What'd you learn from this?" And I said, "Whenever you have a losing trade, you look for a penny faced up." He says, "No, you idiot. You never average down."
That's good.
So that was my first. And then right after, like 4 minutes ago, I went in and I bought 10 Merrill calls. So that was my addiction to trading. But that's a true story, and it taught me discipline. Like, you can scale into a position, but you have to have stops. You can never trade without stops, right? Preservation of capital. You're wrong. It's okay to be wrong, but come back and learn from what you made on the mistake on the trade. Sometimes you can't learn because it could be news related, right? So you gotta adhere to stops, and I think was my primary lesson.
I mean, that's the difference between a successful trader and a not successful trader, is willing to take the loss. I mean, that's the biggest thing, and that's what the majority of people are unwilling to do. They're unwilling to admit that they're wrong. They're unwilling to take the loss, and then those little losses, inevitably, you're going to get one position that's going to turn to a bigger loss, and then it's just taxing not only your physical capital but your mental capital as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you a great story. I mean, news can, when sometimes you're on the right side, it's 50-50. I mean, one time I was long a bunch of S&P futures and I had a really good profit in it. I had my stop in place. It was ticking on my offer, right? I was watching it, I said, "Oh, I'm going to sell these," right? And then boom, I get stopped out. Google's earnings were supposed to be released at 4:00 and they released them at 1:00. I said, "What just happened? I just went from making all this money and I'm down the boatload." And as it rallied, I went to go short, right? and I offered a bunch. It was ticking. I didn't get filled. And then it dropped 10 handles. And I took a chair and I threw it against the wall, and the 4 legs stuck in the wall. And I said, I said, this is insane, so news can play into something, but I had my stops in, so.
Oh, man.
I got one question for you. What utility company do you use?
Joel wants to buy your utility stock for all the screens. Joel can't get over your screen.
I turn the machines off at night so I save energy, okay?
There you go. Are you mining Bitcoin too?
I was going to ask that.
Which one's the Bitcoin miner?
Yeah, right. It's in the back room over there.
With the freezer in the freezer.
Oh God! As long as I got my coffee machine running, that's all I care about.
Steve Kalayjian, the co-founder of TradeEZ. His links to his Twitter. He's a great follow. Links to his Twitter.
Yeah, give his link. People are asking how to follow.
Yeah, they're in the description, guys.
Thanks, Steve.
I'll put him up on.
Guys, have a great weekend and
awesome.
all the best to you, Joel. Great seeing you, Dennis, Spencer.
All
right, we'll get to see you again soon.
Yeah, I'll put the links in the chat, everyone. So you.
That was great. I love the florist stories. I love hearing people's first trades. It's awesome. So
yeah, there is links in the chat.
The first trade is always a circus show. It seems like in some way. What was your first trade, Joel? What was your first ever trade on the floor?
Oh man, I can't go back. I can't go back.
Do you remember your first one on the floor?
No.
You don't remember your first trade?
No. I think my first trade, it was maybe in copper with my dad, when I was really young. So I can't remember that. No.
My first trade was Net Nanny Software on the Vancouver Stock Exchange in 1996. And it was these emails. You'd get these emails from these stock promoters. It's the same thing that's going on today, except it's done in different ways. But it's like this Net Nanny software. This was what was going to filter out the internet. So it was like for your kids. So you put this Net Nanny software on your computer, and then they couldn't look at anything bad on the internet. And it was NNS on the Vancouver Stock Exchange. This Danny Deadlock came in, and he said, this stock was going to, going to the moon, probably front loaded it, looking back, but I didn't know anything about any of that right then. I was like, oh, this guy says it's going up. I'm going to buy this thing. It's great. And I bought it at 95 cents. And 2 days later, it was $3. I literally I was like, I'm the best at this. I'm literally oh, look, I just tripled my
You're making it in, Dennis.
And I bought more. And then it tanked. And then that was oh, okay, maybe I'm not so good at this, but the penny stocks. We all start in the pennies.
Oh, that's good. All right.
Yeah, 1996.
Guys, it's 8:50. We got a few minutes left. If you want to do some ticker time, let's do it right now. Now's the chance. Or we can also just everyone just share their first trades. That's a pretty funny story. But let's do some ticker time. Drop your tickers for us in the chat. Let me check my list. Was there anything that we didn't get to that I want to cover today? No, I don't think so. I think we covered most of that was on my list.
Ticker time.
Yeah. Okay. Let's look at Apple, because yesterday, and Joel and I discussed this yesterday, but Apple had a headline. Apparently, they're going to experiment with a subscription model for hardware for your phone. So you're not going to own your phone. You're gonna rent your phone.
Do you want to talk about overbought stocks? This thing is overbought, but does that mean it's going to turn? No, it means all the shorts are caught like hell on this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days from 150 to 175 on one of the biggest market cap companies in the world. You're going to have to look a long ways to find a move like this that's that sustained. That's incredible. I sold at 162 on a little piece of my long-term position. It's still the biggest position. I think it's Google or Apple. It's the biggest position in my long-term portfolio. So it's still huge in there. I think it's still 12% of my overall long-term portfolio, just because it's grown into it. But wow, this is just an incredible move, and I would not be chasing it.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it's not going to go up another 8 days in a row.
I don't think so. But remember ExxonMobil?
Yes.
4 years ago, there was an ExxonMobil move.
It was longer than that, Dennis.
20 out of 21 days.
And
then, you know what it did? It went down for 19 out of 21 days and completely gave it all back. Maybe I did it backwards, but it's crazy.
There was another one, too. Is Cognizant Technology? Is that still around?
CTSH, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that had like a bigger streak. If I had this thing, I'd be okay. 8-day winning streak, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher closes. I'd wait for one of those, strings to stop, and then maybe move up. The dailies are telling you 177 is where the next resistance is. I'll give you one level ahead of that,
Yeah.
and that was 175.48. So look at those areas. If you're looking to peel out, I would say the longer it takes to get to those areas, the more chance a little bit of a rollover. But very, very huge move. And you were talking about Warren and having all his money in Apple. Well, didn't hurt him too much, over the last couple days.
It's playing catch up to Berkshire. The Apple chart is just trying to catch up to where Berkshire is, because Berk goes up every day too. So no matter what, market goes down, Berkshire goes up. Market goes up, Berkshire goes up. Warren just kicking ass and taking names in this market, I tell you.
Going back to the conversation of things that people need rather than things that they want. Well, they need medicine. Have you guys looked at Bristol Myers recently? Bristol Myers Squibb. It is flirting within shouting distance of an all-time high.
Wow.
That was from 22 years ago.
Well, in 2016 we got to 77. Was it higher than that before?
It was 79 in late 99, I think. So 23 years ago.
It got up to 79 in 1999, eh?
Yeah.
When they were paying P's as 70 for a pharmaceutical company.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Merck was trading with a P of 55. It was like Walmart was trading with a P of 50. And those things took decades to come back. But anyways, wow. Cheap stock now. I mean, the P on Bristol Myers, what, 9, 10, maybe 12? 12. I'm guessing 12. Forward PE. 12?
Forward PE is 9. Price to sales is 3.5. That's a
pretty
little
good, just having these in my head. They're cheap. The pharma stocks have all been cheap. I've got a lot of them in the portfolios. I own Merck. I own a bunch of other ones. I don't own Bristol Myers. It's one I've always wanted to own. I just don't. It's never found its way into my long-term portfolio. So is it going to find its way now? Probably not.
This doesn't show any signs of going down yet. I would just keep tracking the closing price, which has been the high close of the rebound right there. The high was 260, 72.60, close 72.41. So use that yesterday, or if you want to be try and get taken out on the downside. Look at yesterday's lows, 71.49. The lows have been moving up, but I can't. And if you're trading it intraday, it looks like it moves like around $1 a day. So if it gets up another $1 today at 73.40, 73.50, that would be a target for just a daily trade or short term trader.
We'll do a couple more here from the chat, and then we'll bring Money Mitch on here. Let's talk about. There's a lot here. I'm trying to find names we don't normally do. Teva isn't a name that we haven't
Teva
in a long time.
Go off the board here. Yeah. It's an ADR, so it's already actively trading over in Europe. So you're just in the secondary market, meaning you see a tight little 854 to 856 spread. That's your high frequency trader that's trading it off of the European price, giving you that tight little spread. They're looking to make a penny on you. So there's not going to be like these big moves that happen at the open or anything like that because it's an ADR. It's already open in Europe. With that being said, we do a technical on anything. 850 is resistance on this, which is right where you are right now.
Yeah, actually a little bit higher. Well, it took out. I'd be more inclined to try and. There must be some news out on this or something. This is a pretty big move for it. But I would have said, hey, I would have liked it going through 822, 821. That's an afterthought now because there was a pair of highs there. So it's bid well. And Dennis is talking about the quad top here at 855, 856. That's where it is right now. There's news. There's something good news on here. If you're buying this off the open, make sure this thing holds because this is a pretty unusual move for it. There must be some good news on it.
It's coming into spring now, coming into golf season. You want to look at Drive Shack. This is DS. This is for Mega Heiser in the chat.
Oh my gosh, penny stocks.
Yeah, well, it's come down. Yeah, it was not earlier, but it is now a penny stock. But this is the operator of golf courses.
You get above $1.50, it gets a little bit more interesting.
Yep.
Got to get above $1.50. There's no volume in this thing though either. It's super thin. So
Trades a few million shares a day.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh. I
Look at Callaway. That's had quite the sell off. Yeah, I'll agree with you on the drive.
Up
Shack.
above $1.50 looks interesting. I mean, you're coming into seasonality here, so Callaway is interesting. Some of these stocks are interesting.
Yeah,
But
Callaway.
the trends are not your friend here, though. That's the biggest issue. Is like we're trying to call bottoms on seasonality, and whenever I try to call a bottom in a stock, it's usually not the bottom.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Let's do a couple more. Let's look at.
Let's look at DraftKings. I'm going to grab the chat from you here.
DraftKings, and then a few people talking about Bitcoin. Yeah, I know Bitcoin. There was some whale activity overnight, right? Yeah, I saw that too.
DKNG, $20, man, is a big number here. It's struggling at it. Is it going to get back above it? I think you cannot buy 19 on a breakout through 20. Then you start thinking 25. We'll do the Kenny Glick. You know, you get the 20, then you think 22 and a half. You get the 22 and a half, then you get the 25. And you can, you know, we're kind of making fun of it, but I tell you, Kenny, it works, man. And I love Kenny Glick. We love Hit the Bed, and Kenny keeps it simple too. And he's totally about that. You got to get through the 20, then you get the 22 and a half. You get the 22 and a half, then you can start thinking about the 25. And it's just going through the optionality of it too. So, I mean, you get through the 20 on the DKNG, start thinking 22 and a half. Until you get above 20, not touching it.
Yeah, this was supposed to be, the tournament time and picking up and nothing. Been a little bit of a trading range, 18 to 20. You're kind of in the middle, but I do like that 20
That's
area.
true too. And sorry about
Yeah.
Michigan, Joel.
Yeah, when you don't
we didn't
make
mention
baskets, it's when you don't make baskets, it's very hard to win the game.
You don't get the shots.
That's important.
Yeah.
Let's do one more. Oh, I just had. Oh yeah, let's do Qualcomm for intern.
Qualcomm. We haven't
Yeah.
looked at all the
No,
Still long it. I've been long this thing in the long-term portfolio. So the only one that I bought in March of 2020, when everybody else bought all their stocks, I bought 2 stocks in March of 2020. Microsoft and Qualcomm both were killing it. I'm still long both of them. I have sold half of the Qualcomm. Bought at 60, sold half at 120. So forever trading with the house's money here now. It's 159. Might die with this one.
160. 160 was Tuesday's high. So aim that for the high for the week. You're at 159.70. If you're looking for another target above that, 163.16. Getting a little bit of a head start up 20K. Must get through that one. And actually, you're ticking 160 here in the pre-market. So make sure you get through that 160 today in Qualcomm.
All right, it is 9 a.m. Joel's going to head on over to PreMarketPrep.com. Dennis is going to do whatever it is he does.
Sure.
I'm going to go over to get ready for our all access show at 9:15.
All right.
And Money Mitch is going to hop on here.
Money
Before we go,
Mitch.
happy Tolkien Reading Day, everybody. All you Tolkien fans out there. Today is National Tolkien Reading Day. So go enjoy.
Like Johnny Manziel. Hey.
What? No.
Gotta get that money.
Okay.
Get the money.
Cool.
I gotta
that
go get that
money.
money. Money Mitch, I will talk to you later. We're off.
All right.
We know Dennis is gonna get that money.
Mitch, go run through your watch list for us. What's on your radar here today?
Let's do it. So first thing first, of course, we're gonna be paying attention to what happens in the cannabis stocks.
Yep.
So there you go. I'll put up CGC here, take on over here. Let me put myself full screen so you guys can see these charts a little bit better here. You guys know how I like to use my TC here to kind of get through the sectors and the industries. I'm going to really quickly run through some of these stocks, the stocks that I'll be watching today. Going to be coming on also at 10:25, guys. So we're going to do all access, and then we're going to get into live trading. So don't leave anywhere. If you guys want to get to live trading, stick around. Watch some all access. If you need to, bring the volume down a little bit, I don't mind, do your trading, do what you got to do, but check out all access. And then we'll be jumping on around 10:25. Hopefully I've already nailed some of these trades, but going to be watching CGC for a pullback here. Going to be looking towards the $8 pullback. I think we can get a quick pullback out the gates and then a quick rise back through that 825 level. Looking for like an inside day that eventually just comes up right back through that $9. You're going to look for a day 2 move in CGC TLRY. We'll be watching those. TLRY, I'd be looking for more of a pullback closer towards the $7 and $7.25 area, but we'll see what happens today. Right now, that is hanging out at the top side of the range. I'm playing a lot of lithium names as of late, so you guys take a look at some lithium names you guys can watch. LAC has been really a big ripper, but this is one that I've been watching, and I did day trade this one yesterday. Wish I would have been able to hold on to some of the shares. MP is really the leader, taking off. I know the SPAC haters out there love to say that there's no SPACs that are up, but this thing is ripping at 52-week highs. We'll see what happens on MP. PLL is another one that started to push yesterday. I got into a swing on LTHM. We're going to watch to see if this one can continue, get on up there towards the 27 area. You guys can also watch the ETF that's lagging a little bit, LIT. We'll watch for that to kind of push up through 79 and 80s today. We'll see what happens on these. Like always, just keep a watch on the overall industry to see if it continues to run. Steel has been really strong as of late. We've been calling this out for a while now. Hope you guys have been playing some steel plays. Best plays have been X, Cliff yesterday. Really ripped, guys. Steel Dynamics is another one that I really like. And if you take a look here, this one actually set up a Head and Shoulders failed pattern that came back and ripped. You can see it now almost to the 90. Has been a big mover. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at some of the other basic materials plays that I've been calling on out. Specialty Chemicals is doing really well right now. You guys can watch some of these trades right now. ALB is one that I've been watching. Look how this has been going the last couple of days. Really has been pushing here. And then you can look in chemicals. I do like the chemicals. I've called this out here since the 10th of March. We've been watching this, and look how the chemicals have started to get really strong here on the industry. You can take a look at names like APD. You could take a look at HUN. I do like this one. It's trading down right now. It could reverse here. Back is another good one here. BAK. This is the one that I'm going to call out today that looks the best for me, is this BAK to get through that 2050. We have an alert to trade this one. We'll see what happens here in the chemicals, but definitely a good day there. Gold also coming back and looking strong. And remember, guys, we've been watching gold since February 7th. Actually, February 4th was the first day we started watching this. And look how this has been strong. This has been a big rip. We'll continue to watch what happens in gold. All right, let's go to stocks from the chat. I'm going to catch up with the chat and see what you guys are mentioning out there and see what stocks you guys want covered. I did see EMPH being talked about. So that's my leader in solar. If you take a look at this, this is actually started to get really strong here. I'm going to take a look at some of these solar names. I've talked about them. Beam is one that I'm looking at today. That one is setting on up through the 16 to get up there towards 1750 today. We'll keep an eye out on that one. Maxen is another one that I like. It's pulled back below the resistance here, that 14. Let's see if we come back up towards that 14. You can also take a look at names like First Solar, Run, also Sun W. Let's see if this one can get off the bottom and just start pushing through 3. Sol really pushed last time when we got up there towards 8, so we'll keep that one on watch through the 650s today. It could get moving there. That's some solar names out there. ChargePoint being mentioned a bunch in the chat. Keep your eyes on this one. Definitely a favorite out there. Continuing to run. Has multiple resistance at 19 and supports at 18. I would look for both of those kind of trades to work either to the downside or to the upside. All depends on the stock and where it wants to go. All right, Mitch, will you ever buy crypto again? Yeah, I mean, I don't mind buying crypto, but I'm waiting for another bear market. I think that it's important to, when you're looking at alternative investments, to get them cheap, right? Not buy into the rip. I really would not buy into here on Bitcoin because I just feel like you could easily go back down to 20K at some point and then you really be kind of in the hurt. So for me, I'm staying out of the crypto world right now. I'm waiting for the next bear market in crypto for me to jump on. All right, HEXO being called out there. Clean CLSK, Clean Spark being called out also. This one has been doing really well, has been pushing on up, kind of a renewable energy play. I've been also watching FSIL also. This has been working its way up. We'll see if these can continue to run. I think that they've gotten too far. But look at Plug. Plug looks actually a little bit stronger here. We'll see if that one can get through 29, but I think it's probably going to pull back towards the 26. These stocks are all extended, so it's pretty it's pretty hard for me to just be jumping into these stocks now. I mean, if you take a look at this. This has been going up 26%. There's no reason why I can't pull back like 13%. So I'm going to keep watching them. We'll see what happens there. Kramer says Marvel one to watch. Yeah, of course. You know why? I mean, he's not being the craziest by calling out Marvel, right? What is he doing is he's looking at the sector, right? And he's looking at the industry. He's seeing the semiconductors rip like NVIDIA, AMD, Qualcomm. And so what does he do? He does the laggard type of trade. He does what I tried to look at all the time, guys. So I'll take a look at the industry and take a look if there's some charts that are lagging on that move and to see if the industry move continues in the next day. So like today, if you were going to trade Marvel, what would I do? I would be focusing on the other chip makers. So I'm looking at NVIDIA, AMD. I'm looking at Qualcomm. I'm looking at those stocks to see TSM. Do they start ripping? If they rip right out the gates, yeah, I would take my shot in Marvel because then you have the industry moving in a direction and supporting your view in the stock. This is why I like to trade with the herd. And a lot of times I like to get baskets. I like to get a couple of stocks and diversify in between. And then you could take a swing that you're at least diversified in the industry, yet you're seeing the whole industry move on up. All right, let's keep going, guys. I'm going to take some looks at the chat, see what else is being mentioned out there. BABA being mentioned. I think that's more of a short for me right now. Chinese names, I'm staying away. I only play them to the downside right now. ADM, been waiting for a pullback, but it refuses. Let's take a look at ADM. ADM Farm Products. Man, this is one that I have to say that I missed out on the buy here. We were looking at this one on March 17th. Why were we looking at this? Because we saw farm products start getting hot. And what is this? This is the inflationary trade, guys. So this is why I tried to stick to looking at what could come, right? What could come? And then I pay attention to the stocks, try to catch the momentum as it starts ripping. As we started seeing this day right here, this was the day that it really should have got on our radar, the 21st, and then we're looking for the breakout or an inside day. We got to pull back into the lows and then just kept going. We'll look for a pullback now. I wouldn't be chasing this unless I'm doing kind of more of a day trade, just trying to get the momentum, but I'd look for a pullback closer towards 88 or 87 to look for that kind of dip back, throwback buy, and then getting back in there. But ADM, what a great move there. All right, let's keep going, guys. This is how I love to find the stocks is you have to go ahead and be working backwards, guys. So let's say like we could do it right now. Let's say like working consumer cyclicals. Then we see what's up in consumer cyclicals right now. Look like lodging is doing good. Let's take a look at some of the major leaders in lodging. So you take a look at Hilton. Look how it's lining up here. We actually called it on this last move on up. And we came back down significantly, down towards that 130, but through the 145s, I really like it now. Now you have some support to go off of. You can drive and use that 148 right now and look for a push towards 154 and 158. We'll see if this can hold. Hilton, Marriott looking the same way, right? Looking like it wants to start getting strong here. It did do a nice little push out. I would look for a pullback towards 170 to hold today and then come back up through the 174 level. Not a bad stock. I did see Airbnb being mentioned in the chat. So we're going to take a quick look at that. This has been really hot. I actually wrote it up last time up towards this trend and we didn't hold that push. Now we're back up there towards the 170, getting up there towards that 180. I think this one could really start driving on the long term. If you take a look at the monthly chart, you're going to see a nice kind of flagging pattern, multiple bottoms near that 130. So I would look for pullbacks towards 160 to try to join in on the party. But right now it does look like it wants to get strong. And if I measure this long flag here from, let's say, the monthlies, that's about $94. So if we can get up there towards the 190s, I think, and start pushing, who knows, we can make a move maybe towards 300. I'm going to keep a watch on this. Like always, do your own risk assessments, guys. Airbnb setting up for 185, 190. Check it out. You see, I got you, man. I didn't even look at the chat and I was already covering Airbnb. Let's keep going, guys. Smash the like, guys. I only see 341 likes, yet 1,000 people watching. If I can get 600 likes on live trading with only 700 people, there's no reason why we can't get to 800 likes right here on PreMarket Prep. You guys getting great information from traders like Dennis Dick and Joel Elconin. I enjoyed the show. I don't know if you guys enjoyed the Swedish meatballs comment earlier, but I know I did. Let's keep it going, guys. Smash that like. All right, we're going to see if X is going to give it to you today, but let's take a look at some of the other stocks out there. Is Apple going to keep moving? I'll take a look at Apple. If you guys got some other stocks, let's go ahead and keep it going there. There's 429 likes now. Let's keep it going. Can we get to 800? Can we break records? That's what I'm all about here on Benzinga. So you guys help me and smash that like button. All right, let's go ahead. Let's keep it going. I can talk stocks all day long. So let's go ahead. Let's get into some other names out there. Let's take a look at some of these chip names like NVIDIA. So one of the things is this has been ripping, guys, and I'm going to be looking for pullbacks today towards 265 to hold. If we do get that 265 to hold, then you can start taking a look at if you want to go ahead and do kind of a dip buy here. Now, we did see a resistance come into play here. And so if you see this 284, look how we kind of knock back down through that 284 today. That's going to be the level on the upside that I'm going to be watching. For NVIDIA, you got to watch that 284. Do we get back above that 284 today? I think we get pullbacks closer towards 265. But if we do get a push towards that 284, I'll definitely be watching for the move. All right, let's keep going. Let's look at some other stocks. DXCM, that's not a bad one there. Let's take a look here. Diagnostics and research. I do like the hourly chart. Trying to get through hourly highs here. Has what? Rule of three into play, guys. I talk about this all the time on live trading. You're looking for 3 attempts to break on out, pullback holding. And that's what matters here is that you're getting that pullback to hold. It comes back into these levels as long as 458 holds. Even a tick down through the 465s, I would look for a push back through the 480s. I'll keep this one on watch, guys. All right, we got about 2 minutes till we get to all access. You guys keep throwing up those stocks. I'm going to keep going through as many as I can here. Let's go to NGS, guys. This is a natural gas play that I'm going to call out today. I'm going to be watching to see if this one can get moving here. I really like that it made a run in March and then turned around here. Now you're getting back through the trend line. You got a nice push, so be careful for a pullback towards the 1176 before you get that big breakout at 12. But I'm going to be watching there to see if we get a breakout on NGS. If you guys want to take a look at some other natural gas plays, you got TEL. TEL has been doing really well. This is TELL, and you guys can watch this one. Look how this has been pushing through the 5. And if you take a deeper time frame look and you look at this trend line, look how we held it. Look how we broke above here, like what I always talk about. The break above, it needs to close above. You got the retracement. Now you got that push above. And then what do? The next day it opens above that, giving you that nice signal. You could get a pullback towards 450 and 426. But for right now, I'm going to be looking for this to get strong. We'll look for that to kind of get through that $5 level and hold pullbacks to the resistance or the prior resistance, which is around the 460s. Or you can draw this up towards right around here where you got the multiple touch of those wicks. That's around 477. And you can see that pullback yesterday went to 475. All right, BTU, you guys know how I love my coal trade. This has been an awesome trade. I do think that we might get a pullback today towards 2391s, but look for this kind of trend to continue. CEIX is another one I would give you guys, and coal. This has been strong, so if maybe BTU takes a rest, but CEIX starts taking over. Look how that trend's continued. In the last 7 days, it's gone 22%, so just be careful there, but definitely a good stock that's been moving. Industrials is one to keep watch, guys. I've called this out too much that I think that a lot of people are going to miss the infrastructure type of trade going into Q2 and Q3, which is for me the industrial. So keep those on watch, guys, for longer term type trades. CAT, DE have really been leading here. DE has been one that I've been talking about since March 1st. Look how this pulled back and now has just completely ripped, gone about 18%. CAT, since we called it out from the bottom here, has really made a nice move also. This one has gone about 18%, has a couple of days sideways now. Look for another push through 228s today. That's what I'll be watching in CAT. That's going to do it for me, guys. I need to get you guys on over to All Access. Like always, smash the like, come enjoy some companies, and get the story. You guys know as Money Mitch, I'm always about that story is everything. Yes, we always need to keep the fundamentals and the technicals in our mind. I like the 3-variable approach, but there's nothing like getting to the story. So I'll get you guys to some stories right now on All Access. Smash the like, and I'll see you guys next time.